What's up guys, I'm Andy from 1A Auto. In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace the lower radiator hose on this 2001 BMW 325Xi. If you need this part or other parts for your vehicle, click the link in the description, head over to 1AAuto.com. With the trunk open, over on the right side or the passenger side, there should be a cover that goes right here. This vehicle doesn't have one, but you're going to want to remove that cover. Battery is located right here. First thing I'm going to do is take a 10mm socket and a ratchet, loosen up this nut for the negative terminal, and that's loose. Slide off the cable, slide it out of the way. I'm going to take these push pins out right here. I'm just going to use some side cutters, get this center pin, pull that up, and then slide it out. Careful not to cut that. Get those out. Just grab this piece, slide it out. We're gonna disconnect this connector right here. Just push down on that, slide that out. There's another connector right here. I'm gonna slide the wiring out first, just like that. Then the connector will come out. Just slide that to the side, like that. I'm going to take a T25 and a ratchet, take this screw out right here. Just going to use this trim tool from 1AAuto.com. Take this push clip out. Get in there, pull that out. All right, now that is loose. But what we need to do is we need to take the fan off, because the fan has to come out with the shroud as one. What we need to do to take the fan off is we need to disconnect the fan clutch from the engine side. This is attached to one of the pulleys right there. So sometimes these are somewhat difficult to get off, so what we're gonna do is use this tool. We actually sell this at 1AAuto.com with many different sizes. This happens to be the 32mm. That's gonna slide on there. And then we slide this on, and with a pneumatic air hammer, we're gonna give it a couple bumps, and it's gonna loosen up that nut, and we should be able to get it off. All right, so now I'm gonna take the tool. Now this fan clutch happens to be on their reverse thread, so it's gonna seem like you're tightening it, but you're actually loosening it. So we'll go like that. Put our air hammer on there. Make sure you wear hearing protection and eye protection. All right, so that's loose. Took a little bit of effort, but I got it. Now you can slide the tool off. Just move it a little bit. There we go. And you should be able to just spin it off like that. You might need the tool once in a while, or you could use a wrench that fits 32mm wrench. All right, now I'm just going to keep loosening this up. Be careful, you don't want the fan to fall. You don't want it to smash into the radiator, especially if you're going to reuse the radiator. If you're replacing it, it's not a big deal. So as I get closer to the end, I'll just move the fan and just grab the blade. And there we go. Now I can slide this right up, just like that. I'm going to pull this fill cap off before we drain the coolant. Make sure the engine is cold. You don't want to take this off while the engine's hot, or you're going to get splashed in the face with coolant. Pull that off, and now we can raise the vehicle and drain the coolant. Underneath the vehicle, there may be a cover right here. You're going to have to remove it. There should be some fasteners there, and there, and there, and then also back there. This vehicle doesn't have it, so we're just going to start right here. I need to loosen up this drain right here. This radiator is not the original radiator, so I believe you're going to have a different size socket to to use if you have the OEM radiator. For this one, it's a 22mm socket. I'm going to use an extension and a ratchet. Loosen this up. Make sure you put a drain bucket underneath. Just going to remove this. And there we go. Look at that coolant looks nasty. To help the coolant drain out a little faster, I'm going to open this bleeder screw right here. Just use a straight blade screwdriver. Loosen this up. Disconnect this connector right here. Just push on that. Slide it out. Make sure you have your drain bucket underneath. And I'm going to pop this hose off. Just use a pick. Slide up on the lock. And grab the hose and try to wiggle it out. All right. Just a little bit of coolant, not too much. Now we're going to take this part of the hose off right here and just use a straight blade screwdriver or a pick. Pull the retainer out. You don't have to pop this off completely. Just happen to do that. There we go. Slide it down and slide it out. I'm just going to take this sensor out right here. There's two little clips. Slide on those and just wiggle this out. Slide it out, just like that. Here's the old part. Here's the new lower radiator hose from 1AAuto.com. As you can see, the shape of the hose is the same. It has the same fittings for the ends on both sides, the spring clips that hold it in. Get yours at 1AAuto.com and you'll be ready to rock and roll. We're going to put this sensor back in. I'm just going to use a little bit of white lithium grease. You could put some Teflon type sealer on here if you wanted to. It's all preference. Or you could just put it in without. Put that in. I'll double check, make sure that doesn't leak when I'm done. I'll take the hose, slide it in position. And just lock it in place on the lower radiator hose. Right there, it'll lock in place. Take the connector, line it up, lock that in place. You can take the upper portion of the hose and slide it over here. And lock it in place. So these have to go on together. Just slide this in position. Once you get this close, I'm going to start to tighten up the fan. Now these fan blades are, the fan clutch is reverse thread. So it's almost like you're going to be loosening it. There's really no easy way to do this. Just do it carefully. Once you get it started, it's a little bit easier. Make sure the fan shroud is in properly. That's good. All right, if you have the ability to torque this nut for the fan, you're gonna torque that between 22 and 29 foot-pounds. I don't really have that ability, so I'm just gonna put this tool on there and just give it a little tap. That should be good. Right here is a push pin. It's gonna go back in here. Slide that in position. And lock it down. And on this side, we're gonna put this screw right here. Then I'm gonna use a T25 and a electric ratchet. Tighten this down. Just snug. I'll position this wiring harness right here, and we'll plug the connector in right here. Lock that in place. Then we can take the negative side, connect the negative side. Take the same 10mm socket and ratchet, tighten it up. That's good. At this point, if you had that cover, you're going to want to put the cover back where it goes. When adding the coolant, we're going to use a funnel, and you want to make sure you add the appropriate type of coolant. You can check your owner's manual. There is BMW specific coolant. Generally, it's blue coolant. So we're going to fill up the reservoir. We're going to take this bleeder screw out. Just use a straight blade screwdriver or a Phillips head. Just move that funnel. You could probably just loosen this up a little bit, or you can take it all the way out. Just like that, set it aside. You want to fill this all the way up to the top and have coolant come bubbling out of the bleeder hole. Once it's coming out of there, we're going to reinstall the bleeder screw. It is plastic, so be careful, you don't want to strip this. Get this started again. Then close that bleeder screw. And then you're going to adjust the level in here. Now there is a little dipstick in here. When this is full, this is going to be all the way at the top. Now you can check it right here. It shows where the min and the max is, so you want to adjust that accordingly. You can add coolant or take out coolant. You can use like a turkey baster or some type of fluid pump to suck the fluid out. Then you want to let it run. You want to leave the heat on. When you leave the heat on, if you don't have heat, you're going to want to crack this open a little bit and just make sure you get some of the coolant out. It's probably a good idea to shut the engine off, let it cool down, and readjust your coolant. When you're done, when the fluid level's at the appropriate level, take the cap, put it back on. Make sure you monitor your temp gauge while you're running the vehicle. If you run the vehicle for about 10 minutes, the temp gauge should go right in the middle there. If it starts going to the red, shut the vehicle off and start over. Bleed the system again.
Thanks for watching. Visit 1AAuto.com for quality auto parts shipped to your door, the place for DIY auto repair. And if you enjoyed this video, please click the subscribe button.